In a cold valley deep in the American mountains, a massive flock of sheep moved slowly toward greener land before winter arrived. The air was calm, the sky glowed orange. Everything felt peaceful. The sheep stayed close together, walking as one. Some were young, some were old, some were weak, some were strong. But they all believed the same thing. As long as we stay together, we'll survive. Then, suddenly, from the rocky cliffs beside the trail, a pack of wolves appeared. Not running, not growling, just watching. The entire flock froze. Fear spread instantly. One young sheep whispered, "We're finished." An older sheep lowered his head. He had seen wolves before. He knew what usually happened next. But this time was different. The leader of the wolves slowly stepped forward with calm eyes and a strange smile. "We're not hunting today," he said softly. "We only want one sheep." Silence filled the valley. Then the wolf said, "At sunset, the sheep standing at the very back of the flock will belong to us." And with that, the wolves stepped aside. No attack, no chase, no violence. They simply waited. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then one sheep quietly stepped forward. Another followed. Then another. And suddenly the same thought entered every mind. "I just can't be the last one." That single thought changed everything. The peaceful walk became a fast march. The fast march became panic. Soon the entire flock was running. Dust filled the valley. Bodies slammed into each other. "Move! Get out of my way! Don't slow me down!" The sheep were no longer thinking together. Now every sheep was thinking only about itself. A mother sheep pushed past an injured sheep to protect her lamb. A strong sheep shoved an older sheep behind him. One sheep even turned around, looked at a weaker sheep struggling to walk, and whispered, "I'm sorry," before forcing him backward. The wolves remained completely still, watching, because they understood something the sheep did not. Fear can destroy a group faster than teeth ever could. Hours passed. The sun slowly moved lower across the sky. The sheep kept running, exhausted, desperate, terrified. Some collapsed from fatigue. Some were trampled. Some became separated and alone. Yet nobody stopped. Nobody asked, "Why are we doing this?" Because fear had already taken control of their minds. Near the back of the flock, an old gray sheep limped painfully beside a small lamb. The little lamb looked terrified. "Why is everyone acting like this?" the lamb asked. The old sheep looked ahead at the chaos. Then he quietly replied, "Because fear makes people forget who they are." The lamb looked confused. The old sheep continued, "When fear enters the mind, people stop protecting each other. They stop thinking together, and they start fighting to save only themselves." The lamb stayed silent. As sunset approached, the valley became quiet again. The sheep were barely able to stand. Their breathing was heavy. Their legs trembled, but still they kept trying not to be last. Then, finally, the sun touched the horizon. The wolves stood up. The flock froze. The leader of the wolves slowly walked forward through the broken and exhausted sheep. He looked around at the injured, at the terrified faces, at the divided flock, and then he smiled, because the wolves had barely done anything at all. The sheep had destroyed themselves. The old gray sheep looked around with sadness in his eyes. Then he whispered to the little lamb beside him, "The moment we started fighting each other, we already lost." The lamb slowly looked around, and finally it understood. The real danger had never been the wolves. It was the fear planted inside the flock. As darkness covered the valley, the wolves slowly moved in. There was almost no resistance left. And somewhere in the cold wind, one final lesson echoed through the mountains. Sometimes people are not destroyed by the enemy in front of them. They are destroyed by the fear planted inside them. Because once fear controls the mind, people begin comparing, competing, pushing others down just to feel safe. And that is how unity dies. Not from force, but from panic.